Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Alright, today I got a new video for y'all. Today I'm going to be ranking the best under 25 players going into the 24-25 season. Alright, by under 25 I mean players who are under 25 right now as I'm making this video. They might be 25 by the time the season starts, but like I'm only doing under 25 right now. So no Luka, no Shea, no Jaren Jackson Jr. Only people who are under 25 right now. But y'all get it, let's get into it. Alright, at number 10, I got Chet Holmgren. Alright, Chet coming off a phenomenal rookie year, averaged about 17 and 8, was top 5 in blocks in regular season, and led the whole playoffs in blocks. I think going into his second year, his third year since he got drafted, I think he's just going to keep getting better. What Chet needs to work on, for me, he needs to work on more punishing mismatches in like down low, which comes with like adding strength to his build, which I think Chet will add strength in his build as he gets better, goes on. So right now I think that's what he works on. But for me, the reason I have Chet above some of the other people that I didn't put on this list is the defense. The defense for me is really real. The Thunder, of course, were a top defense in the league, and a lot of that had to do with Chet. He's an elite rim protector. Obviously, like I said, led the playoffs in blocks, was top 5 in blocks in regular season, averaged 2.3 blocks, averaged about a steal a game. I think he's pretty switchable. He's not like a complete gazelle when he's guarding the perimeter. He can switch pretty well onto smaller players. He can obviously guard down low. He's been a good three-point shooter. I think it's going to go up. He started the season around 40%, although it dropped later on. I think he will project to be eventually get to a 40% three-point shooter. And yeah, so number 10, I got Chet. I think going to next season, I think he'll be maybe a borderline all-star player. Don't know if he'll make the team, but I think he will be that level of player. All right, number 9, I got Alperen Sengun. Sengun this year just had his career year, his third season in, averaged over 20 points a game, about 10 rebounds, like 5 assists, on really good efficiency. When I saw, he isn't quite the shooter there yet, but I don't think he needs to be. I think what really intrigues me about Sengun is his passing. Sengun is, people have called him the baby Jokic. I don't think he's Jokic just yet. I think he's right now a little bit more closer to Sabonis, where he's that passing big man in the post. And I think with the Rockets, he will continue to get better. I think he is one of their core pieces right now, one of the main pieces on that team. And I like really a lot what I saw from him this season. He was obviously third in the most improved player this season. For me, the question about Sengun is his defense. Can he be a consistent defender on the other end? I saw a Sengun interview, I think it was with Paul George, that he said he led his Turkish league in blocks before he came here. And I can see it. Sengun isn't like a cone defensively, some other passing big man. But he isn't like that elite defender, but I think he can project to be a good defender, especially with that Rockets team around him. They have good defenders. They got Dylan Brooks, they got Amen, Tari Eason's a good defender. I'm just really excited to watch the Rockets next year. I think they will be a playoff or / play-in team, especially with what I've seen from Reed Shepherd in Summer League. I'm dropping a video about that soon, but yeah, I think I got Sengun at 9. I think he could potentially, if he has the same role that he had this season, or maybe even bigger, I think he could make an all-star team if the Rockets are good. Alright, at number 8, I got a player that we haven't seen much of these last couple seasons, but I got LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball, since he came to the league, has been, even before he came to the league, let me not say that, since high school has been must-see TV. Obviously, a lot of people watched him at Chino Hills, then he went overseas, then he came back, and what I've seen in the league, LaMelo Ball is one of the best passers in the league, like his brother Lonzo. I think they're both really good passers. But LaMelo, to me, he's just almost, how do I say, like, I think he can be a one-man offense. He averaged about 24 and 8 this season on pretty good efficiency before he went down. But there was a streak in there where LaMelo, for me, all-star. He's obviously made an all-star team previously, but then he's been injured these last couple years. I think if he can have a healthy season, LaMelo is still one of the top players in the league, one of the top point guards in the league. Obviously, he has the size at 6'8", great passer. He's a good shooter. He can dribble. I think the question for LaMelo, again, like Sengun, is the defense. He's not as good as a defender as Sengun. He is, LaMelo, for right now, especially for his size, is a below average defender. If he can become an average to a slightly above average defender, I think and just stay healthy, I think consistently he will be all-star, even maybe an all-NBA level player. Especially if you play that now with Brandon Miller, who's there. I like Mark Williams. I think that Hornets team, couple years, can be real contenders, especially with LaMelo and Brandon Miller. So number 8, I got LaMelo Ball. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. Got a little pause, but got a little something in my throat. But number 7, I got Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is the reigning MIP. He was an all-star reserve this year, averaged about 26 and 6. Great efficiency. And what really surprised me about, I don't think it surprised me, but what I was really impressed by Maxey was his performance in the playoffs this year. In the playoffs this year, Maxey averaged 30 and 7 on about 57% effective field goal percentage. So great efficiency, especially for someone who's putting up 30. Obviously a great playmaker. But for me, why Maxey wouldn't be higher is because of the addition of PG to that team. Maxey is someone who, from what I can see, he's not high ego, not really that ball dominant. So he's someone who can share the floor with other stars. So I think when adding PG, Maxey would just drop down to the third option like he was there with Harden. So I think his assists might go up, but I think his scoring will probably go down with another scorer like Paul George there. But Maxey, of course, it had already an all-star caliber player. Can show that he can perform in the playoffs consistently over his career. And I think Maxey is a solid dunk piece that so many teams in the league, if they had him, he would immediately turn into contenders. So yeah, number 7, I got Maxey. Number 6, I got a player who I wanted to put higher in Tyrese Halliburton, back-to-back Tyrese's. Halliburton, for me, is the definition right now of a one-man offense. He almost single-handedly, don't want to say just single-handedly, I'll give credit to the other players, but basically single-handedly made the Pacers the best offense in the league. Averaged about 21 and 10 or 11, not sure. But I think people were a little turned off about Hallie post the second half of the season in the playoffs. Post his hamstring injury, he wasn't the same person. But pre-hamstring injury, Hallie was, for me, a all-NBA level lock. He was the best playmaker in the league, an elite shooter, over 40% before the injury. And scoring him, he can score in bunches or he can play make in bunches. The defense isn't there, but I think the offense is just so good. Probably right now, I think he's easily top 5 offensive players in the league, maybe in top 3. So I think that offense makes up for his defensive woes. In the playoffs, he wasn't as aggressive as I would have wanted a star player to be. But I think with the rest of this offseason, he'll have time to recover from the hamstring injury. Barring he doesn't go through another injury, I think he'll come back similar to how he was at the beginning of the start of last season, where offensively he was almost untouchable. Amazing passing, almost no turnovers, great scoring, great efficiency. So number 6, I got Tyrese Halliburton. Number 5, I got Paolo Banchero, P5. Paolo coming off his All-Star year. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm a Magic fan, so this might be a little biased. I think Paolo is he is a certified superstar player. I think in the next couple of years he will show people as a superstar player. The questions right now for Paolo are being consistent on defense and his efficiency. But a lot of times people with this analytics era, I think people put too much on the efficiency. For me, if you watch the game, you could see Paolo, even though he's inefficient, the impact is there. Even though maybe you can look at the advanced numbers, they'll say Franz is better. If you watch the games, you can see the impact that Paolo brings is deeper than the numbers on the team. And then Paolo also showed in playoffs that he can't perform. In his first playoff appearance, Paolo averaged 27, 9, and 4 on average efficiency, but 40% from 3. I'm very impressed by this. So even though they lost in 7 in that game 7, where second half he was very inefficient, I think if you put the right piece around him, you give him a good point guard that has some shooting, I think that'll immediately raise his efficiency, because a lot of his efficiency woes have to do with the lack of spacing on the Magic. Obviously, they're playing Franz, who just had his worst shooting season. Markelle Fultz was playing a lot. Gary Harris had a down shooting gear. Wendell was on and off for shooting, although he's still a pretty good shooter. So I think a lot of the Paolo's mistakes in his efficiency and decision making had to do with a crowd that paying and defensive attention too much on him. So I think if you surround him with more shooters, his efficiency will just get better. He'll have more space to work, and I think once that efficiency gets up, maybe give him a true point guard so he doesn't have all the playmaking responsibility. I think he immediately goes to a top 15 player in the league. Number 4, y'all might not like this one. I got Anthony Edwards. Let me start by saying this. Ant is one of my favorite players. He's one of my favorite players to watch. Just his demeanor on the court, in the interviews, like, Ant is one of my favorite players. The reason I don't have Ant higher is just I think what the 3 players ahead of him, what I've seen from them, I think going into next season they will be better. But Ant, obviously, All-NBA year, was great in the playoffs, swept the Suns, beat the Nuggets, and then lost to the Mavs. I think, for me, the only thing Ant needs to work on is his passing and decision making. I saw a lot of times in that Mavs series that the scoring wasn't coming to him, and was very disappointing to me. It kind of looked like he was tired, but I think once he becomes that better passer, and I've seen him working on that, I've seen him get better through these first years of his career. So I think going into next season, that will still get better. And Ant, arguably, he could be a potential top 10 player if he becomes that. I don't need him to be an elite passer, just a good passer, good to great passer, good to great playmaker consistently. Obviously, he's a great defender, can score, elite mid-range shooter. So Ant, I got you at 4. But I think I could swap Ant with 2 or 3 as well. I think 2, 3, and 4, all on the same level as me. So it's just really just personal preference right now. But Ant at 4. At 3, I got Zion Williamson. Zion, for me, I still have faith in Zion even through all his injury woes. What I've seen from Zion is he's an elite finisher. He can get to the rim almost at will. And what I saw from him this season that made me put him above someone like Ant was his playmaking. Because in the past, that was the concerns I had with Zion, was the defense and the playmaking. This year, he showed that he can decision make at a high level and play make at a high level while still being an extremely efficient scorer. Only averaged about 23 this season, even though he's averaged higher in the past. I think, especially with the addition of DeJounte Murray, with a better passer, I think Zion scoring will go up. Although I still got injury concerns when it comes to Zion, I still got faith in him. What I've seen from him when he does play is that he is still elite. He's almost unstoppable when he gets to the rim. He's still crazy athletic. So I got Zion at 3. I think going into next season, you brought him DeJounte Murray, a better playmaker than CJ McCollum. And if he can have a healthy season like he did this year, then I think the Pelicans will probably be a top 5 seed in the West. At number 2, I got Ja Morant. Ja, I think, is the oldest player on this list. He turned 25 in a month. But Ja has shown me that he is an All-NBA player. He can perform in playoffs. He's an elite scorer. He's an elite playmaker. And like what I said with Tyrese, the offense is so good that what happens on defense, I can forgive. Especially when he has someone like Jaren Jackson Jr. on the same team as him, where the team defense will always be great. that Ja's defense doesn't matter that much to me, because his offense really is that good. Obviously, he only played 9 games this season, averaged about 25 and 9. Shooting was pretty bad from Ja this season, but he has shown that he is a better shooter than he was this season. I think going into next season with Ja, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, GG Jackson, I think that Grizzlies team will be a top team in the West. They'll be a contender, and we've seen them in the past. They're top 2 in the West back-to-back years before this year. Just with some injury luck and just staying healthy, Ja coming back, Grizzlies will be contenders. That's why I got Ja number 2 as one of the top young players. And then number 1, I think we all expected it. I got Victor Wembanyama. I think we all saw Victor Wembanyama's historic rookie year. Second in DPOY voting. First team all defense. Led the league in blocks. Led the league in stocks. Averaged 21 points a game. Good shooting. Amazing defense. Unanimous rookie of the year. Should have been an all-star. There's not much to say about Vic that hasn't been said already. We've seen him. He is the truth. And I think going into next season, he now has Stephon Castle and Chris Paul as point guards. We saw it in the second half of last season, how good he can be. In his last 10 games alone, Vic averaged 26, 12, and 6 with 4 blocks on great efficiency. He was one of the best pull-up shooters in the league, and being 7'5" and being one of the best pull-up shooters is crazy. He's shown good playmaking, and I think now that he got that point guard as well, I think it's over. I think he's going to be a top 10 player next year. He'll probably be an All-NBA level player next year, and could potentially even carry the Spurs to a play-in spot. So I got Vic number 1 as the best young player in the league. And alright, guys, let me know who you would have in your top 10. I know I probably left some people off. Like, for example, Scotty Barnes, I probably would have had him number 11, but didn't have him here. Let me know who you would have. Comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you later. Peace.